That's always a blow.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Thankfully, I think we bought another one about a week before.
It's for one of their. Another spaniel?
Another Welsh. And boy,
He's gonna earn it.
he just killing the place.
You good, John?
Yeah, he'll be good.
Good. The Columbus City Council meeting for April 19th, 2021 will now come to order. In compliance with the Open Meeting Act, Nebraska Revised Statute 84-1407, a current copy of this act is posted in the meeting room. Madam Clerk, could you please call roll?
Bulkley,
Here.
Augustine Schulte.
Here.
Barr,
Here.
Hemer, Jablonski.
Here.
Kreshaw,
Here.
Lohr, Roth,
Here.
Schilling.
Here.
Mayor Bulkley, the roll has been called.
Thank you, Mrs. Council President.
Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens. Please give us your wisdom and guidance to make the proper decisions entrusted to this governmental body. May our conduct show respect, honor, and courtesy to each other, as well as to all of our citizens. Amen. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone, to tonight's council meeting. If at any time during tonight's meeting, anyone in our audience would like to address the council, we'd ask that you please come forward, give your name, address, issue, and we'd ask that you leave your comments to at least 5 minutes or less. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Item 4, consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a City Council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent status and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 4A, minutes of the April 5th, 2021 City Council meeting. Item 4B, renewal of a solid waste hauling licenses for the following: Ace Sanitation Service Incorporated, Beamer Lumber LLC, doing business as Discount Dumpster, Callaway Roll-Offs LLC, S2 Roll-Offs Refuse and Recycling, UNI Sanitation LLC, and Waste Connections of Nebraska Incorporated. Item 4C, resolution number R21-58, authorizing the mayor to sign the Nebraska Department of Transportation Certificate of Completion and Release for snow removal equipment building for at the airport, Item 4D, resolution number R21-59, approving the agreement with Balin Towing LLC for towing services from May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022. Item 4E, resolution number R21-60, approving the agreement with Mike's Towing LLC for towing services May 1, 2021 through May 30th, 2022. Item 4F, resolution number R21-61, authorizing payment of various improvement projects. Item 4G, Finance Department reports. Item 4H, payroll and bills on file. Mr. Mayor and Council, is there anything you would like removed from consent status?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the items on the consent agenda be approved as presented.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to a special presentation this evening.
Item 6A, presentation by American Red Cross on Save a Life event for the promoting fire safety and awareness. Chief Miller?
Good evening. I'm excited that Columbus has been chosen by the American Red Cross as signature city for Nebraska for Sound the Alarm, Save a Life campaign. We have with us tonight Rochelle Lipker, the Executive Director serving Central and Western Nebraska of the American Red Cross, to give a presentation.
Thank you so much. Good evening, and thank you so much for allowing me to come this evening to visit about our Sound the Alarm, Save a Life campaign. So as Captain Miller said, my name is Rochelle Lipker. I'm the Executive Director for the American Red Cross serving Central and Western Nebraska. And last year in April, Columbus became part of the Central and Western Nebraska chapter. So we are super delighted to be here. And so if you want to advance this slide, I'm just going to kind of nod and so why Columbus? And I've gotten this question. Why did we choose Columbus as our signature series for the entire state of Nebraska? Well, on October 20th, 2020, we were made aware of a home fire that very unfortunately took the lives of an entire family, a family of 4. So Gina Troncone, our disaster program manager, has been working with Columbus Fire for a number of years and approached the department about installing alarms. Our goal, however, is to make 100 homes safer. So how can you make a difference? So by volunteering. So we're going to need some assistance from the community to help pre-canvass some of the areas that might need smoke alarms. And so the pre-canvass event will be from April 26th through May 1st. You can volunteer the day of the event, which is Saturday, May 8th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Note that you will not be entering any homes. All of our home fire evacuation plans will be done outside of homes, socially distanced, for the safety of everyone. Or you can become a trained Red Cross volunteer. So every day we respond to home family fires, we respond to disasters such as the flooding, and we need trained volunteers that are ready to go at a moment's notice. So, but a lot of people don't realize that we have what's called disaster mental health. So we realize that disasters affect families in different ways. So we can reach out to families long after a disaster has happened to help the family work through the effects of the disaster. In the event of this October 20th home fire, we offer condolence care. So we will reach out to the family and offer the family some condolence services and additional funding for that. But we also have Red Cross services each and every day, such as our blood drives. So just becoming a blood ambassador for the American Red Cross would certainly help. Or you can donate money. So on average, each smoke alarm that we install costs the Red Cross $15. However, during fiscal year 2020, we paid out $674,408 just in direct client assistance in the state of Nebraska for home family fires. So at Red Cross, we definitely want to be proactive with working with families in hopes of preventing a home family fire. Across the nation, as effective as March 16th of this year, we have documented 849 lives saved. So as you can see on here, we're going to talk a little bit about home fire statistics. Home fires claim the lives of an average of 7 people each and every day. But a 2020 National Red Cross survey that most of us don't take steps to protect ourselves or our families. Just by testing your smoke alarm, this will double your chance of survival in case of a home family fire. But most of us, actually 65% of us, don't even know the last time we tested our smoke alarm. Participating in a home fire escape plan twice a year, which will increase your chance of survival, yet 70% of us have not done this. escaping in less than 2 minutes can be the difference between survival and a tragedy. So what we're going to do on May 8th is we are going to work with families to develop what's called a home fire escape plan. We have them in English and in Spanish. It's really important that we don't want language to be the barrier between a tragedy and a successful evacuation. So what you need to do is you need to establish 2 ways out of every single room. So this is actually a home fire escape plan that I did with my grandchildren. So we kind of color coordinated it. We practiced it with, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. We practiced opening the window, pushing out the screen of the window and crawling out the window. During a home fire is not the time you want to discover that you can't open the window because it's been painted shut, or you don't know how to get the screen out, because every second counts. So in a real fire, get out, stay out, and call 911, and never go back inside for people, pets, or things. And when every second count, that is not when you need to decide, oh, I forgot something. So now we're going to talk about the life expectancy of smoke alarms and how you can get one. So smoke alarms have a 10-year life expectancy. Who in here has hardwired smoke alarms? Yeah. Did you know that they expire as well? Yeah. So they last 10 years. And when you push the button on a battery-operated one after 10 years, all that's telling you is that the battery's good. It's not telling you that the smoke alarm's no longer sensing smoke. So smoke alarms only last 10 years. After that, you take the whole unit down, you throw it in the trash can, and we can install new ones. And thanks to the partnership with Dan Miller, we'll actually come into the home and install smoke alarms. Each smoke alarm has a 10-year lithium battery inside. It's tamper resistant, so you can't take it out and put it in a toy, which is really cool. And unfortunately, the home fire fatalities, they had smoke alarms in the home, but absolutely none of them had batteries. And so to think that those 4 lives could have been prevented with batteries or a testing of a smoke alarm. And so we definitely want to talk to kids, elderly, and anybody who will listen about the importance of having a working smoke alarm in your home and the placement of them. You don't want to put these in your kitchen because sometimes they applaud my cooking and that's not good. You'll get tired of them and then you'll take them down. So the placement of them are definitely very, very important. So for Homes Made Safer, this is where we need you. We are looking for 10 volunteers to be trained on May 8th to go work with families to develop home fire escape plans. This will be done between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We really want to hit home. Does everybody know 2 ways out of every single room? Typically, it's a door and a window. But in the case of a home family fire, if you have included your children in practicing a home fire escape plan, they're more apt to get out. They're not going to be scared. When fires happen, typically kids will go and hide. They'll hide under beds, they'll hide in closets, they're scared. So if you've talked to them about this and told them how to get out, they're more apt to go outside. Develop a meeting spot outside. Ours, on our home fire escape plan, was our mailbox. So go out to the mailbox. Why do you want to do that? So when the fire department shows up, they know how many people to go look for and where to go look for them. And if you have elderly or disabled people in your home, be sure that you've made accommodations for that. And they're practicing as well because they will be affected by the fire. And a lot of people go back in after pets. Make sure that you're including your pet when you're practicing your home fire escape plan, because pets become scared as well. And then people go back in, and that's where a fatality can occur. So our home fire escape plans, we have different ways that people can prepare. We realize that not everybody needs a smoke alarm, but you know, when was the last time, honestly, that you practiced a home fire escape plan in your own home? And have you timed it? Can you get you and your entire family out in 2 minutes or less? That's pretty difficult. Most people think you have upwards of between 5 and 8 minutes to get out of your home when it's on fire, and in reality, it's 2 minutes. So set a timer, make a game out of it, and practice it with everybody. Do this twice a year. Do you know how to open windows? This is a great time to discover, hey, our windows got painted the last time the house got painted. I don't know how to remove this screen. So, and involve your children, involve your pets, and everybody who lives at your house. Make sure you all know how to get out of your home. If you have a multi-story home, how are you going to get out of the second floor? Just make sure that you're thinking through all of this. So for anybody who needs a smoke alarm, we definitely want people to register. We want to make it super easy on May 8th for Captain Miller and his team. Go to redcross.org/smokealarmne, or you can call a 1-800 number to get that. And I think I had that earlier in the presentation, but now do you have questions? What can I answer for you? Yes.
When you place a smoke alarm, my
Yep.
mic is working. When you place a smoke alarm in a home, do you keep a record of that address and go back to them 10 years later and say your smoke alarm is not any good anymore and we'll take it down for you?
We do track where we put smoke alarms, and that way we can document lives saved. My goal is that we keep a record of, hey, we installed this 10 years ago, we need to replace it, or send a reminder card or something to follow up.
Do your smoke alarms also test for carbon dioxide?
No, this is just a smoke alarm.
Okay, thank you.
And I learned a lot tonight from Captain Miller. He said that most of your homes here in Columbus are electric only. So.
I think your comment about the smoke alarm becoming invalid after 10 years, it will be news to the majority of the public. I had no idea. I'm like the rest of the world. The battery's in there. If it beeps, it works.
Yeah. Actually, when we install our smoke alarms on this side, we will actually write the date that it needs to be replaced. So, and if you go home, take your smoke alarm apart, it'll have a manufacturer's date on the back of the smoke alarm. If it doesn't, I would say it's probably over 10 years old.
Very good.
And smoke alarms make two different noises. One is a chirp, telling you the battery's low, and the other one. So I did a presentation with some Hispanics, and Spanish was their main language, and they did not know that. So we played the noises for them so that way they would know the difference. But this should never chirp. It should always just alert you of a fire.
Well, it's amazing to think that we possibly could have avoided the tragedy of last October with just some basic batteries.
Absolutely.
So if your 15 minutes in front of us has helped avoid a future accident or tragedy,
Yeah.
it's been awesome, and good luck with what we're doing.
I thank you. Our goal, like I said, is to make 100 homes safer, but if we prevent one fatality, we've done our job. So I just want to special kudos to Captain Miller and his team for partnering with the Red Cross on this. Saturday, May 8th, 10 to 2.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we will move on to public hearings.
Item 7A, public hearing, application of Granville Custom Homes Incorporated to rezone property on attractive land located on the east side of East 14th Avenue and north of Armory Drive from RR Rural Residential to R2 Two-Family Residential. The Planning Commission recommends approval, but this public hearing is going to be continued to May 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. No motion, or yes, a motion is needed actually to move the public hearing.
I move that the public hearing be moved or be continued to May 3rd, 2021 at 7 o'clock.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue the public hearing, May 3rd, 2021 at 7 o'clock. Any discussion?
This is a thing with the planning commission that kind of bothers me. And I think Kim Hofert's letter kind of struck home on this, that all these projects that go through the planning commission then come to us and then we have to delay them. Don't we have a checklist that says you got to X, next, and then it would be great to bring it to us instead of having to bring it to us and then we have to move it forward somewhere. We're losing something in that planning commission, and I don't know what it is. And I just think it's, then people say, well, we're in a hurry. We got to get this done. And then when they got people like this that don't have all their stuff done, I think it's not right.
The ordinance isn't required currently. A rezoning requires an ordinance. The ordinance is not required to be complete and approved by the city attorney prior to the planning commission. That was not completed by this applicant prior to the deadline for today's meeting.
Okay. Well, it doesn't look good. However you want to address it, it still doesn't look good. So.
All right, we have a motion. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7B, public hearing, application of Worth Properties LLC to rezone property located at 1300 block of 17th Avenue on the west side and the south of the alley from R3 Multiple Family Residential District to MLC1 Light Industrial District, and amend the future land use map of the comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Anyone here to speak against this public hearing? Anyone here to speak for this public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7B1, ordinance number 21-13, approving the rezoning.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend the rules be suspended and ordinance number 21-13 be read by number only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve rules be suspended and read ordinance number 21-13 by number only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Ordinance number 21-13.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend the ordinance number 21-13 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 21-13. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7C, public hearing, application of Curtis Perry to rezone property located at 2315 and 2321 10th Street from MLC1 Light Industrial District to R2 Two-Family Residential District, formerly known as Urban Family Residential District, and amend the future land use map of the comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Anyone here to speak against this public hearing? Anyone here to speak for this public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7C1, ordinance number 21-14.
Mr. Mayor, I move the rules be suspended and ordinance number 21-14 be read by number only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read ordinance number 21-14 by number only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Ordinance number 21-14.
Mr. Mayor, I move ordinance number 21-14 be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 21-14. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7D, public hearing, consideration to purchase a lift-equipped small bus at an estimated cost of $75,000 for Columbus Area Transit with 100% funding assistance being sought from the Federal Transit Administration.
Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number R21-62 be adopted.
This is a public hearing, Ron. That will
I'm
come
sorry.
next. Yep. Yes.
Anyone here to speak against this public hearing? Sorry, I got distracted by our crowd leaving. Here to speak for this public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7D1, resolution number R21-62, authorizing application for funds from the Federal Transit Administration to purchase a lift-equipped small bus for the Columbus area transit.
Now, resolution, I move for the adoption of resolution number R21-62.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 21-62. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Brings us up to number 9.
Number 9, Finance Department report on consent agenda.
Item 9A is the 2020 tax increment financing report. This is an annual report as required by a legislative bill. If anybody has any questions, we can ask those, but I'll briefly go over it. And Heather's here as well if we have questions. But it basically overviews the total number of redevelopment projects and what was approved in 2020. There were 5 redevelopment projects approved in 2020. One of them was for housing. 3 of them were at the old Walmart redevelopment, and 1 was the ACE oversized storage project. There's a number of facts and figures in the report, and this will get filed with the state.
One place we didn't, that didn't appear on there is how much of the tax that was deferred that did not go into the tax that was used to pay the bond. So if your project was X amount, 20% or whatever it is goes to TIF funding, what is that dollar amount? Everybody asks me that. What dollar amount is tax that goes, that tax can be used to go against your bond? So you're telling us the value of these properties are X, but you don't tell us that the tax that was taken out, what are we losing in the tax?
The difference between the base value at the time the project was started and the valuation now is the difference. So that's
not, I don't think that's a correct statement. I think
yes, it is.
the tax that gets taken out and used for the bond is that difference? Excuse me? But you don't show that anywhere.
No, that's not required to be in the report
Oh,
that
it's not
goes to the
required, but
state.
for the taxpayers to understand tax increment finance, they need to know that dollar amount that we're losing to pay for these improvements.
Can you answer it differently than I did?
No, she answered correctly. So we take when we divide the property, then they set that value. So some of those properties on that list haven't been divided yet. So we simply just put the 2020 valuation because that's what we have at this moment. But then when it does get divided, then that alerts the assessor that this property has been divided. So the initial base gets the same tax as it always has. And then the increment comes after that.
What is the increment?
Well, it's whatever the levy is set by the property and then times that difference. So if that difference is 500,000, you take that times the levy, not just the city levy, the entire total levy.
So isn't that a number that the taxpayer should know about?
We can.
Well, why? Why should
The
the
confusion of the tax increment finance comes in. They don't understand what amount of that tax increment financing gets pulled out of the tax base.
the taxes paid on the increase in valuation because of a project is what gets pulled. It is different for every project.
Right. So you can track that. You're telling me what the Ramada started at and what the Ramada's valued at now. But you don't, you didn't tell me that the Ramada is paying or taking X amount to pay their bond.
No, but you could certainly figure that out from the difference.
Never mind.
I mean,
Never mind.
we do
You guys-
collect.
It's not required as part of the
Doesn't
report,
matter
Rich.
what's required. It's what taxpayers ask me all the time is what tax dollars are we losing to tax increment fine? We're not losing. They're putting it back in the property. But what is that dollar amount?
So on the 5, I think I currently have 5. We have 1 now coming in this next 2021. So those 5 properties, we collect that on a separate document when it comes in from the tax dollars. So I can get you that pretty easy. But out of the 19 on the list, most of those are very new. So we haven't divided those properties yet. So we wouldn't know, we wouldn't be able to tell you. That one column on the far right, it shows the projected, what the developer projects that the valuation would be. But until we divide it and the assessor,
That's still not a number.
I know, I get it. But until we divide that property with the assessor, we have no idea.
Well, we pay a number at the Ramada.
You do, because your project is already divided and it's already paying. So that I can get you very easily. But the new properties, I cannot do that.
Well, let me take this. So this document that we're looking at right now has been prepared because it's a state requirement.
Mhm. And this document actually goes a little farther. The state's requirements are only for divided properties only.
So you've added in.
I've added all of the ones that we passed in 2020, so you have some idea of the magnitude of the projects. But their requirement is just divided properties at this point.
So in the future, or if you could go back to address Councilman Jablonski's request, which it's a valid request and it is good information to have.
Mhm.
You could adjust that into a report like this.
Yeah, and
whether it's required for them
I
or not.
actually do have an Excel spreadsheet that does lay it out. And so once that base property is set, then I do have that. I can add another column that just shows the taxes paid. Over 15 years, it's going to get a little lengthy, but we can accommodate that. But currently I only have the 6 properties, so that have been divided. But
Thank you. I knew they had to be there somewhere, but
yeah, and
we're
we
not
do.
reporting. We're
And-
not showing anybody.
Well,
And then when the question comes to me, then I don't have an answer.
yeah, and you can send them my way too. But when it comes from the county treasurer, then it comes in on each property is separately because we have those TIF all by each individual property. So we don't get it all in one lump. We get them all separately.
Okay.
So I can get you on the ones that are divided, but not on the ones that have not.
Thank you.
So
That's all I asked.
Any other questions regarding the information in front of us?
nothing? Okay.
All right. Thanks, Heather. All right, we would move on to reports of council committees.
Item 10A, Public Finance, Judiciary and Personnel Committee of April 13th, 2021. Item 10A1, Financial and Compliance Audit for year end September 30th, 2020. The Public Finance, Judiciary and Personnel Committee recommends to the Mayor and Council that the Financial and Compliance Audit be approved as presented.
Mr. Mayor, I move that this committee report be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this committee report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Whoops, sorry about that. Got ahead of myself. There we go.
Item 10A2, Amendment to the Schedule of Fees to add fee for park and recreation programming. The Public Finance, Judiciary, and Personnel Committee recommends to the Mayor and Council that the schedule of fees be amended to add fees for park and recreation programming.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the committee report be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this committee report. Any discussion?
Can we just, can we clarify then when we talk about recreation programming and fees? These are things that are organized by the city, correct? Not outside entities?
You're correct.
All right.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 10A3, Amendment to the Pay Ordinance to change job title in grade B14 from street foreman to street crew leader. The Public Finance, Judiciary, and Personnel Committee recommends to the mayor and city council that the pay ordinance be amended to change the job title in grade B14 from street foreman to street crew leader.
Mr. Mayor, I move the report be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this committee report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 10A4, City of Columbus cost shares for the 2021 construction season. The Public Finance, Judiciary, and Personnel Committee recommends to the mayor and council that the City of Columbus cost shares for 2021 construction season be approved.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend the report be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this committee report. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 10A5, request for proposals for financial and compliance audit services. The Public Finance, Judiciary, and Personnel Committee recommends to the mayor and council that the staff be authorized to send requests for proposals for financial and compliance audit services.
Mr. Mayor, I move this committee report be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this committee report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to new business.
Item 13A, quote from McQueen Equipment in the amount of $20,400 for a vapor router control system conversion upgrades for the wastewater collection department.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the quote from McQueen Equipment for conversion upgrades be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt or to approve the quote from McQueen Equipment. Any discussion?
I'm curious what a vapor router control conversion equipment thing is.
You don't have one in your backyard?
We might, but I just might be that thing that's in the backyard.
You're gonna want one if you need one.
Oh, okay.
Director of Public Works. This is tooling that goes on board with our new jetter truck that it chemically induces foam herbicide into the sewer lines that will kill the roots that are growing in the sewer line. And typically we get a 3-year kill from them. So when we've had it in the past, but we got our new jetter. So we looked at options and we think for the best option is to upgrade the one we have and retrofit it to the truck that we have now. So that's the plan, and that's the funding you see in the money before you.
How effective is it?
Very effective. And we TV and we follow up on it, and we're seeing the 3 to 4 year kill on them. And you can kind of see, you watch it on our sewer calls, it'll drop down and then it starts creeping back up in that 3-4 year mark. So
How long does this piece of equipment typically last?
if we maintain and take care of it, it's probably 5-10 years machine.
What's the cost of a new?
I think we paid 120 when we bought it new
Okay.
Oh.
to have it retrofitted in the unit we had and stuff. So
All right. Thank you,
Thanks.
Chuck. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 13B, comments from the mayor and city council members. In compliance with the Open Meeting Act, no discussion may be held on this item.
Any council members have any comments this evening? Mr. Jablonski.
I just wanted to say that if anybody hasn't gone next door to check out the library, I highly recommend you doing that. Karen and her staff have done a very nice job of putting a product together for the community. I know it's far from perfect, but they're to be commended for the work they've done. It's just, it'll help with the people that really want access and want the product. So kudos to those people that were involved in that.
Great comment. Any other comments this evening?
Also, I would like to, I don't know who promoted it, but the pool tournament that we had in the town
Eagles.
this last weekend brought a ton of people. And if anybody went out to eat Saturday night, you're lucky you got served. I mean, it was tremendous. So that's really a good, help for our community, and more power to them.
It was a tremendous shot in the arm for the community. It was sponsored by the Eagles. It was a state event. I had the opportunity to welcome them Saturday morning. 106 8-people teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the pool players. Think of some of them brought their wife, friends, and family members.
Yes, they did.
So it was quite a weekend for things in town. So, all right. I have nothing to add this evening, so we'll move on to consideration of bills and payroll on file.
Item 18A, ARL Credit Services.
Mr. Mayor, asked to be abstained from voting on this agenda item because I have a conflict of interest because I'm owner of ARL Credit Services.
I move that Councilmember Jablonski be allowed to abstain from voting on this agenda item and to suspend the city council rules requiring him to leave the council chambers during the discussion and vote on this agenda item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow Councilman Jablonski to abstain. Any discussion?
Nay on this and see what he.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the bill from ARL Credit Services be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.